What's up?
Hey, what's your argument?
Um, can I just, obviously, can you just point out your reasons as to why you don't believe in God?
Suffering. There's so much gratuitous suffering in the world, especially animal suffering. Why would that exist if God's all good?
So your so
Why
your
did
basic
it?
guideline for not believing in God is basically suffering.
Well, it seems antithetical to a good God who wants the best for us, yet makes a universe where it's configured for harm and destruction.
I mean, it wouldn't really be a reality if everything was obviously all good and perfect. There always has to be a positive, opposite to something. So always a good and bad. There's
Can
always a
God?
yin and yang.
Okay, is God all good?
Um, is God all good? I mean, yeah. What would define him as bad?
So God. I thought you said there has to be an equal and opposite to it. I thought you can have something all good.
But just because, well, you can't use that argument and say that just because there's the good and evil and everything, God has to have an evil, he has to have an evil attribute towards him. That doesn't make sense.
So he
That's a
doesn't. So
fallacy
so why does God not have to have something evil, but the universe does?
because he is God. He has certain attributes that obviously the creation doesn't.
Why not? Why couldn't God make an all good universe?
Then it will be pointless.
You mean pointless?
You can't have an all
That
perfect
that that
universe.
that
Otherwise, there will
assumes
be no
that
point.
presupposes that there's a point to evil, right? When there doesn't have to be a point to evil, the universe could still be all good and God not and God exist.
I mean, you can have neutral attributes. Doesn't mean evil, and that's obviously everyone's definition of evil is very subjective.
No, it's not. If you believe in God, you think that there's something objective about evil and goodness because you're saying God is all
I mean,
good.
I'm saying your opinion of what's evil can be subjective to someone else. So
Yeah, that's
your
irrelevant.
your
That's
your
irrelevant
opinion.
here. I'm asking you. I'm doing an internal critique on your view. I'm asking you, why is there evil if God is all good? Wouldn't God want to generate something good? Why would he want to generate a bad world? That seems gratuitous.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, he didn't. Yeah, okay. My argument would be he didn't directly create something bad. He just created a creation that obviously as a result done bad things.
Yeah, but um, so do you think that people do bad things, therefore that there's bad, right?
I mean, yeah, that's not God doing bad things. That's people doing bad things.
Okay, but how about like when earthquakes hit or volcanoes or lightning bolts or lightning strikes and that kills people? Is that a result of free will too?
I mean, that's normal. Earth's. That's normal Earth's like something that obviously that happens on Earth like asteroids
Yeah, and who
crashing and
created Earth? Right, who created all
yeah.
that?
Sorry,
And who created all that?
God.
Exactly. So it
But that's
seems to
natural.
me
Natural.
that God
That falls
created
under
evil.
natural processes.
It seems that
That falls
God
under natural
created evil
processes.
things.
Obviously, there's that those all fall under natural processes, right? All these disasters and everything. That's always going to happen, regardless. So obviously, there's going to, as a result of that,
But
there's going
God's
to be deaths.
responsible for that, right? But God's responsible for that because He designed that.
There's life and death. That's a continual cycle. You can't say just
But
because
God
something
created
dies or
it.
someone dies, that's
Look,
evil.
you're not Adam. You're not listening. God must have created all the earthquakes and tsunamis and lightning strikes that kill people. Why would God design such an evil world?
Define evil.
Uh, Whatever your version of evil is, right? Against God,
No,
whatever.
no. No, I asked you, what's your definition of evil? You can't just
It's no
reflect
matter
on
what
me.
my definition of evil is. It's about your definition of evil,
You see,
right?
you can't. You're the one that's stating God is
Like Adam,
evil.
do you think like somebody like getting cancer is evil?
Okay, so that's your definition of evil. Someone getting cancer.
No, it's one example of evil in the world, right? Like, do you think a baby getting cancer is bad or good?
Obviously, it can be something good, but then again, it's not evil.
Okay, good.
Something can
Oh,
be
it's not
something can be
evil.
not good, but it's not evil.
Okay,
No,
then give me.
that's
Okay,
that's just
so
that's just you can't. You hold on, wait. So are you saying that a baby getting cancer is evil?
yes, that's an evil thing. That's a bad thing, right?
there's no correlation between evil and bad. Obviously, those two are related, but there's no definite correlation between evil and bad.
Look, the point
Something
is
that's
that
something that
there's
an
lots of
evil person. You
suffering,
can
there's
say
lots
evil
of
person is someone
badness,
that causes.
there's lots of bad, there's lots of suffering. Does God want suffering, or does he not want suffering to happen?
I mean, it's not something that God wants, but it's something that happens.
Okay, great. So if God doesn't want things to suffer, or doesn't want us to suffer, why would he
I mean,
configure
and
a
also
world where we
furthermore,
suffer?
sorry,
Why would
let me
we
just add to the
configure?
point.
Adam, please, 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 please. If God doesn't want us to suffer, why would he configure a world in which suffering is the norm? Why would God do that? He clearly doesn't desire it. Go ahead. You're muted. You have to unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, say that again. I didn't hear the last part.
If God doesn't desire us to suffer, why would he configure a world in which suffering is normal?
I mean, you can't really compare suffering like to obviously the suffering is not the same as every other individual, right? People
Oh
die the
my
minute they're
gosh,
born.
bro.
Some
Do you
people
think
die
a,
of cancer.
do, do you
There's
think
different
a
levels of
person
suffering.
do you
Suffering
think a
isn't
person
an
who
inherently bad thing.
do you think a person who's being struck by lightning, is that bad? Is that suffering? Are they suffering?
I mean, that's a form of suffering, yeah.
Okay, great. So why would God design lightning bolts to make people suffer? Why would God do that? Okay, he ran away. It doesn't matter what bad or evil is. It's your definition of evil. It doesn't matter my definition, right? You didn't
Hello?
understand. Hey, what's your question? What's your argument today?
Hi, I just wanted to speak on what Adam was saying and just probably add a little bit of clarity, especially with everything about the whole good and evil thing. I think he had some really good points. I just think he executed them incorrectly. Also, I want to say that like I respect what you're doing. I think that it's obviously important to stand up for what you believe in, and I appreciate you doing this at all. But my personal belief is that God created, at least from scriptures as a Christian, is that God created the earth to be good, right? Everything that he designed was to be good. But it was humans who broke that promise and the one requirement, and therefore set everything off as like a curse. Also, I agree with you that evil absolutely does exist in the world, but God uses that to his glory. And that can seem a little twisted, but in our belief system, when something is sovereign, there are things we admittedly.
I appreciate you, but you're just yapping at this moment. It's a very simple question, right? Just saying, "Oh, God, we humans did bad, therefore that's why there's evil." That doesn't answer the problem I proposed. The problem is that God must have designed lightning strikes to make people suffer. Why did God design such a terrible world where there's so much gratuitous suffering that seemingly doesn't need to happen, especially in the animal kingdom? Do animals have free will?
Yes, they do.
Animals have free will.
They do.
I'm
Right.
serious.
They do. So in the
So
Bible,
why didn't God give them the Bible to choose between good and evil?
well, our interpretation of it is that animals were designed differently than humans, right? Scientists can confirm that, atheist, Christian or not, whatever religion. We understand, right? That's science, that animals have different brains than we do, and humans are the superior species as far as mentalities go.
Yeah. Look, I'm asking you, why is there so much gratuitous? Why does she leave? Guys, it's a very simple problem. There's so much evil in the world. People starving, people dying. It seems like free will doesn't explain it enough, right? Oh, what did we do that's so bad? We ate an apple. Eve ate the apple from the tree. Would that really would it be just for us to suffer so much because of an apple? I don't think so. Also, even if we all had free will, God could have made a world where everybody uses their free will to do good. And that's why the free will defense doesn't work that way. What is happening today? Why is the connection so bad? Yes, it is free will. Why do people never grasp that? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Mike.
Yeah, what's your argument? Hello?
Shit. I just requested you and I didn't think of an argument, but all right. DNA, I guess. It's like super complex. It's like how could that be an accident, you know what I'm saying?
It's not an accident. Nobody said it was an accident. What we're saying is that there are deterministic principles of nature that it's guided by, but it's not God, it's just nature itself. And the complexity of DNA is explained by chemical evolution, chemical processes. That's all. It's just, it might be complex to you, but it's to nature, it's very, very simple. All right. Your connection is bad anyway, so.
All right. I'm gonna bring up a good point. I'm in biology and I'm majoring in biology right now. How is it possible that the human body is so complex down to the teeniest like cell? How could that be if God didn't exist? Because nature cannot do that. And we're the only planet in our solar system and that we know of that has life. That can't be a mistake at all.
Nobody. Okay, so let me just dismantle all this garbage. Yes, I agree with you. The human body is complicated. There's a lot of stuff that is entailed by being a human being. However, if you're a biology major, you should understand that evolution explains this. Natural selection explains why we are so complex. Small changes over long periods of time yield complicated beings. Secondly, you said that we're the only planet with life in it. Well, we've only looked a tiny fraction of the universe to find for life. We haven't searched for life at all yet, actually. It's hard to look for life in the first place. We've barely looked around. The universe is way bigger than just our star system. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all of the beaches of the earth combined.
And how is that possible?
So the
Without
idea
God?
that we only have life on Earth and there's no other life, that's like taking a glass of water from the ocean and going, "Where's the whales?" Oh, must be no whales in the ocean, right? That's
Yeah.
analogous to what you're doing.
But it still doesn't explain how the universe could be so like complex and the human body be so complex without a creator to make it.
It's called natural selection. Do you know what natural selection is?
I do.
Great. So then you recognize speciation and how species change over generations and driven by mutations in our DNA. Right? That's what makes complexity happen.
All right, let me take the eye for an example. The eye has been around for so long. Don't make that face. Don't make that face. It is so complex. Scientists don't even know how it was possibly made, even by anything.
We do know, sir. The eye is a very well understood phenomenon. There are
No one
proteins.
knows how it was
Yes, we
created.
do, sir. Your eye is made of the same cells as the rest of your body. It's just that they have particular photoreceptor cells, proteins, that are able to receive light and be stimulated by light. So the origins of the eye come from that type of cell that can be stimulated by light, and those become multiples. They become spherical. They grow over time. There's diffraction, refraction of light. This is a process. The evolution of the eye is well known in science. There's no God required, especially you being a biology major. You should know this.
All right. Here's another thing. How could evolution be a thing without a creator? Answer that.
What do you mean? It's deterministic by the laws of nature. You don't need a creator. It's just nature itself.
It's impossible.
Guided by the laws of nature.
For everything that we have around us to be a thing just because of a Big Bang. That's stupid.
Do you know what the Big Bang is?
Not really. But I know it's like
Okay, so before
it's
you
a massive
critique
expansion of the universe. It's not.
This is your name is very fitting. It's sad that you don't understand the Big Bang, yet you're arrogant enough to critique it. The Big Bang doesn't say we exploded and then we popped into existence this way. No, that's not the Big Bang. There's obviously a cascade of processes, evolution that preceded us today, and it extends back to 13 billion years in the past. So, no, you just don't understand the process. You can't say it's impossible that we're here. If you understand the science, you'll get a better insight on why you don't need God. Hey, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, how old are you?
18.
Okay, and what's your argument?
I want your argument first
For what?
against that God is imaginary.
The problem of evil, we got divine hiddenness, the omniparadoxes. Why is there so much suffering in the world? Why doesn't God reveal himself to us?
What do you think happens after this? Like after you die?
You rot away?
Just like you just don't exist anymore at all. So you
Correct.
think that it would just completely kill everything? Like you just don't exist, it's black. Like you just think it's just black?
You don't experience even blackness, you just don't experience. You experience what a rock does.
So how do you remember that you ever existed in general?
You don't. Once you die, you never remember yourself, and that's it, as far as I can see.
And that's what you believe. So you believe that you just have no purpose on
Not
this
just
earth
what I
at all.
believe. It's not just what I believe. It's what the evidence demonstrates.
Have you ever actually like tried to give God a chance before, or do you just deny it, I guess?
Let's try it. God, I'll give you a chance.
That's not giving God a chance though.
I just tried. And he didn't show
Like,
up.
have you done research to support it, or do you only do research to go against it?
Give me an evidence for God then. Go ahead. We're waiting for the evidence.
There's so much evidence around you. Like, think of like hogs, for example. All the animals that were created on Earth, they were specifically designed exactly to serve purpose. Do you know that hogs have like specifically designed teeth to be able to dig up worms and whatever else to serve their exact purpose on Earth? Humans were designed in a very specific way to serve their exact purpose on Earth.
Yeah, so let me respond to this. From your perspective, you look around, you see humans building factories, building houses. You see hawks with teeth to come down, and seemingly fits that the worms fit in their mouth and the beaks, right? And we see giraffes using their long necks to eat at trees and tree leaves. The problem is, from your perspective, that seems like everything was fit together like a puzzle. However, the other alternative answer is natural selection and adaptations. In other words, life wasn't placed here and plopped on the earth, but we adapted to the conditions over time. And under the survival of the fittest, the hawks who had those beaks that could find the worms, they survived more. And the other ones who didn't have those types of beaks, they died out, right? So over generations, millions of years of this process, you're going to get a world that looks like this. And that's the point. The point is the process of natural selection explains why things have this apparent design, but it's not actually design.
Yeah, I know. Again, I understand certain things you're saying. And like, because I'm a Christian, like I've also studied things to prove against it, because you have to fully believe, correct? Like you have to be able to fully believe in something. So I fully believe because of certain things I've seen. I've seen people get healed in front of my eyes. There's things like powers that you can get spiritually as far as like speaking in tongues. I don't know if you ever witnessed somebody speaking in tongues before.
Let's try. Can you try it now?
I don't have like the Holy Spirit to be able to do that. There's certain people that can do that.
Wait, I think I'm getting it.
That's also not how it works at all.
I did it. I got
just
the
don't
power.
understand where you think that
I
you're
got the
gonna
power.
going from here. Like, what's the purpose of you in existence, I guess? Also, what's the purpose? Have you ever felt guilt before for doing anything?
Absolutely. And guilt comes from the
where
brain.
do you think that comes from?
The brain.
The brain. So it's just how everybody was designed. They're like, you were created with a conscience through the Big Bang.
Again, natural selection
Do you
explains
think
this
an animal has ever felt bad for doing something before?
Sure. Animals have
Do you think
morality.
everybody, including animals and everything else, is always like they have a conscience of what's good and evil and whatnot?
It's very primitive. It's not as keen as ours, but it's
Do
still
you
there
agree
in the
that there
sense
is
that
good and evil?
I'm sorry?
Do you agree that there is good and evil?
Subjectively speaking, yeah. Good is just what we prefer. Evil is what we don't like.
And why don't we like evil?
Because it leads to bad things that we just don't like. That's it.
Why?
It's just a preference.
Why?
Why don't we
What do
like
we not
bad
like
things?
about it? Why do we not like it?
Because we're governed by our pain receptors. We're governed by the brain. Again, the brain is what controls everything you think and feel and do. And
Do you
that's
believe
why
that you have a soul, or do you only believe that you have a
hold on,
brain?
sir, you're all over the place. Let me take it a step at a time.
Okay.
Natural selection explains, again, why our brains are so complicated. Because over time, the brain can grow. It's plastic in a way. There's plasticity to the brain. And you can grow certain parts of it. And hence, there's different brain structures that arise from evolution. And
So
there are
that's
parts of your-
scientifically proven, or that's your opinion?
Yes. And there are parts of the brain that are responsible for guilt and shame, the amygdala, and fear, right? There's also parts that are responsible for decision making, like the prefrontal cortex. So there are different types of the parts of
Which
the brain
is great that God created us that way.
Hold on. There are different parts of the brain that talk to each other and give rise to the things you say and do and think. And God didn't do that. That's just a product of natural selection. There's no need for God.
And there is no proof of that either. There's no proof of that.
Yes, there is. We can look at the brain, we can see these different structures, and we can test these structures and see how the brain reacts to those things.
Which is how God created us. There's not like some weird cell that created us that way. There had to have been
How
a
do you know
beginning.
that God created? How do you know that God did this and not some other thing?
I just don't understand how you can believe that there at least wasn't a creator. Like, I'm not even like from a Christian standpoint, like there had to have been a creator. Like, you can't look around and see how the water flows, how everything works perfect, and say that there's not a creator.
Oh, so you said
Again, regardless
so
of
you're
if,
saying everything works perfect, you said?
as far as like how the earth
Sorry.
flows and
Sorry, I just choked on my water because I only have one to hold to eat and breathe from. Sorry, it feels painful.
that was your
that's
mistake.
Right. Oh, that's right. There are mistakes and flaws in our apparent design, right? There's
Yes, because it used to be a perfect
we get
world
allergies,
until
we
we
get
ruined
pneumonia,
that.
our hearts die. I can get a heart attack right now and die.
Yeah, you can.
What
That is
kind of
correct.
design is that? What kind of design is that?
If you're supposed to die to receive heaven, like that's the whole point of
so a
Christianity.
baby-
If I don't die, then I don't receive heaven.
Guest. Do you know that babies suffer from heart attacks sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
You think God designed that?
Yes, that is. He gets
God
to choose
designed
certain
babies to have
people.
heart attacks?
Yes, because they get to like that would be probably a way for them to go to heaven early.
The most intelligent being in the world. I'm God. I'm so intelligent. Let me create this baby with heart attacks. Yeah. That seems ridiculous.
Again, you've never
It
gotten to
seems
the point though
ridiculous
where
to me
you
that there would be
try
such
to
a design.
accept God. Like you've never tried before, from what you said.
Look, guess. Let me explain why your argument was bad.
Okay, can I ask you just a question? Like, just to try to accept something. So scientists and everybody else, when they try to like prove a point, you have to research it. You also research against what you're trying to prove so that you can see if you can disprove yourself, if that makes sense. So
Okay, that's
have you
peer
ever
review. What's your
tried
point?
going to church, like understanding Christianity and what it's all about before you decided to go against it and argue against it?
Sir, I've been Christian longer than you've been alive.
So you are Christian.
I was a Christian for 20 years of my life. Yes.
And what did you not like about it that made you angry?
It's not that I
at
didn't
God or
like it. It's just that
angry
I realized it
not
was
believing?
garbage. It was mythology. Talking snakes, Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark. That stuff never happened. And there's no evidence of that. Where there is evidence of evolution. And that's why this conflict gave rise to me becoming an atheist. So, yeah, don't tell me that I haven't been a Christian.
You just told me that you hadn't before. Earlier, you said that you had never given it a chance because it was all
That was
false.
that was satirical, but okay. That was satire. And I
Interesting.
have prayed many times in the past. I've prayed to God. I've done all these things before, and there is no evidence I've seen of a God.
So, not in a like harsh, rude way. I'm just curious, like, what is your point in existing now at this point in time? Like, why do you find, like, what do you find purpose in life as in far as like, yes, I should still be here?
Friends, family, exploration, learning.
But isn't
living,
it sad
love.
that like you have
People,
to, like everybody,
people, this lie gives me purpose because I'm helping people, I'm talking to people, I'm conversing,
but you're
I'm
helping them, and
experiencing,
then
I'm
the end
living,
is
I'm
just we
breathing,
all
I'm
die and
thinking,
we're never
my heart's
remembered.
beating. It doesn't matter about the afterlife because I'm living now and that's all that matters to me. I am so in love with this life that anything after this becomes useless to me.
But you were just talking about how this earth has suffering and you don't like it because babies die and whatever else.
Yeah, that's
So what
the
can you
problem.
do to change that?
I'm privileged to be who I am right now. And the fact that there's so much unjust suffering is a problem if God exists. But it's not a problem if naturalism is true because shit happens. That's just the way nature is.
So life has no problems. It's perfect.
Life has problems subjectively, but
So
under
then you
God,
don't enjoy life.
hold on. Shh. I know you're anxious, but you're just skipping. Relax. I know from your point of view, you want there to be purpose for our existence, but you don't solve the problem by saying God did it. Because what's God's purpose for being here? He doesn't have one. He just is, and that's why nature can just be. You don't need there to be a reason why we are here.
What's
Maybe
your
purpose
purpose?
isn't given to us. Maybe purpose can be created by us.
Can I ask you a question too? What is your purpose on going against this and having this live to go against Christianity? Like, what does that purpose serve you? Because I'm
Critical
not
thinking,
like, even
critical
let's say
thinking. I
God
wanna
doesn't
think.
exist.
Look,
Hold on, let me talk real quick.
I can't stand all this. Guys, I'm here because I want people to think. Thinking is good. It helps people understand new things, new perspectives. It can make the world a better place. That's why I do this. If you don't like it, you can go away. Hey, how are you?
Am I imaginary?
No, there's evidence of you because you're talking to me.
Thank you.
That was funny. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yo,
Hi. What's your argument?
I just don't see. I was listening to what you were saying earlier, and like, it makes literally no sense. I mean, if all the evolution, even if evolutionary is true, like, how do you think that? You think it just like just came like pause, but like, you think we're just there? The Big Bang just made that? And who made the Big Bang?
These are good questions. How do we get this way? Why are we here this way? Who made the Big Bang? These are good questions.
Yeah, and there's a good answer. It's God.
No. You might think that's a good
I don't
answer.
know what to tell you.
But what does saying God really answer here? Because if you say God did it, well, who made God? Why is God there that way? Why is God there? See, the questions continue. They don't stop when you say God did it. There's still more questions. Now, if you're going to stop at God and say God is the end all be all, why can't we stop at the universe and say the universe just is? Why can't we do that?
Because something had to create the universe. But then,
Why?
but then something had to create God.
Then I could just say something had to create God.
But also, how could the universe create? I mean, it does create stars.
It's not necessarily created. The universe is not necessarily created. It could have always been.
I mean, I just don't know, because I mean, when you actually look at what the universe. Okay, if we're gonna do universe versus God, we'll just do that. There's no way the universe can make us so complex down to, like the eyesight. Like somebody had to make us this way. Somebody had to make the animals that thrive on this planet. Somebody had to make the planet. Somebody had to make the universe. Somebody had to make it so we can specifically live. You see how any other planet is unthrivable to live on? And
we don't know that. There could be planets out there that are more suitable for life. There could be planets out there that have more life on it than our planet. How could you possibly know that there's no other life out there? And why would that mean that God did it?
I wasn't saying that there's no life out there. I'm saying that.
Look, please listen. Look at what you're saying. You're saying, I don't understand why the universe is so complex. Let me just say God did it. There you go. This isn't a clear, fallacious argument. This is clearly an argument from incredulity. I don't know something, so God must fill in the gaps of my misunderstanding of the universe. That isn't how this works. How this works is you need good reasons for God. And saying, I don't understand why we're complex doesn't do it for you. Because we have explanations for why we are complicated. Natural selection, evolution, cosmic evolution, inflation theory, quantum mechanics, relativity. All these explain why the universe is configured the way it is. And there's no need for God. You just don't need God.
I mean, I'm real sorry for you, my friend, because I mean, like, you really just. And I get what you said, 20 years as a Christian, but I mean, like, I don't know what made you, unconvert, I guess. But long story short is, I mean, you read the Bible? Is that
I read the
you said
Bible,
that?
and I realized how inconsistent and how fallacious and how wrong it is about the world.
But also, it's not. Man has tried to the Bible is a man-written book by the fact that men wrote it and tried to comprehend what's happened. But I mean,
okay, do you have an argument for God or not before I dismantle it?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
So then why is Jesus here? Why is there evidence that he was alive?
Who cares about Jesus being alive or not? It doesn't mean he's God. Do you have all Jesus was a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi 2,000 years ago. It doesn't mean he's a God. The claims are unsound. They're not sound. There's no evidence behind these claims of him resurrecting from the dead and walking on water or turning water into wine. That seems like mythology.
Okay, so I guess I'll do that one too. But anyway, so what about Noah's Ark? I mean, there's a big old thing right over where it said it landed, and there's a big old crater size of an ark, a boat. I mean,
there is no such thing as the ark. There's no evidence of the ark. There's no scientific evidence.
Look it up.
And the rock formation you're talking about just turned out to be a natural rock formation. Not
Why
at all.
can't you just accept that that's what it is? Why can't you just accept that?
Because I want evidence before I believe in things, and it's not enough to just say, "Oh, look, here's this book. Here's this book that says the ark. Therefore,
And
it's
also
real."
there,
I want
and
more than
also
that.
there's
I want
been
better evidence.
there's also been, references in the Bible that have been starting to come true, saying that the rivers are going to be red, which they're turning red. Some of them have turned red. Like there's a couple in Russia that have turned red. The moon, they say
Okay, do
they
you
will turn to
understand?
blood.
Okay, sir. Do you understand that there are reasons why rivers may turn red? There could be algae.
It
There could
doesn't.
be
It
chemical
didn't say the reason
chemical.
why. It just said it
There
would
could
turn
be
red. So
chemical infiltration. There could be all kinds of reasons why rivers turn red. It's not just because the Bible said so. There's other reasons. You're thinking too close-mindedly. You have to think outside the box, outside the Bible, and realize that reality does not have to align to the Bible.
I just don't. I just don't know how. It's just that's just crazy how like you just actually just think God is imaginary. Like there's just even if
All right. Have a
like the
good day,
guys.
sir. Have a good day. Keep thinking it's crazy. It's crazy that God isn't real. That's not going to do you good.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hi. How are you?
Hi. I've been listening to you for a long time, years. I know you get a lot of people that don't have good arguments. I want to start with the language problem, and then we could go to evidence if you like.
Okay.
Okay, so if, first of all, in my understanding, God is everything. Oh, is that a problem yet?
God is everything? I don't know what that even means.
It means that we are categorizing and describing through our language all the aspects or particular parts, whatever word you want to use, of God. Just
So my
it's just it's a name. Like
so my left nutsack is God?
in part, it's designed and through the function of what we're calling God. It's through the universe. You are of the universe, right? You are of the universe,
Yeah.
and you are of God. It's a name.
Okay. So get on with the evidence now.
Okay, so when we actually do name and categorize something, it doesn't exclude it from God. It just gives us our own understanding, our own way to communicate with each other what we're talking about in specifics. That's what science is.
What's the evidence of God now, sir?
Pick apart the whole thing. The whole thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That it's a language problem. Like if you
Yeah, I'm done with that. I think the problem is that you're being too ambiguous. You're saying everything's God, but now nothing becomes God because you can't distinguish God from non-God. Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's your argument?
Yeah, so I was listening to you talk to the other fellow about evolution and stuff like that. And personally, I do believe in evolution to a certain point, but there are certain things in evolution, more specifically to our humans, right? That are our particular species that even we don't even exactly know, with all the science, with all the carbon dating, with all our scientific methods, we don't even know where us as common or present humans actually came from. We can now scientists.
Sure we do. We do know how he got here. We know our ancestors in East Africa 6 million years ago. The chimp ape divergence about 6 million years ago. Chromosome fusion 2 is human chromosome 2 is a complete proof of this.
But we have no proof. Okay, so from a single cell organism, right? If we all came from a single cell organism, and we, throughout the years, evolution happened, and eventually, we become, Homo erectus, right? Homo sapiens species. However, how long do you think, how long do you think that from that single cell organism to that bipedal humanoid happened in a span of how many years? What evidence do we have that
It's for about 4 billion years, and this is record. This is evidenced by the geological strata. The fossil record shows a almost complete set of all fossils that from single cell to us.
So I'd have to look that up, honestly, but
Yeah, look it up. We have a very good understanding of our origins, especially life coming from non-life. It's called abiogenesis. It explains amino acids, proteins, lipids come together, form RNA, then DNA, then life.
right,
It's amazing. It's incredible, but it's not magic. It's not God. It's just nature.
right. So you said about how many years ago?
4 billion. That's when life began on Earth. 4 billion years ago.
So, I mean, you're talking about just like human life or just life in general?
Human life began about 2 million. Life in general began about 4 billion.
Okay, so human life about 2 million years ago. How do we go as a complex species as we are as humans, bipedal humans? And I'm not talking about comparing humans to, what we think our closest ancestors are, because there's not enough evidence to truly say how we went from our most common ancestor to what we currently are as humans. So obviously you've heard of the missing link, right?
Yeah, Australopithecus afarensis. That's our most recent common chimp ancestor that
Right.
we still
So
offer.
there's been supposedly evidence where they found our most recent common ancestor that actually bred with current human, pretty much present
Neanderthals.
humans.
You're talking about Neanderthals. Yes, they bred with us as well. But I think you're confused, and you have to go back to the drawing board and learn more about science. You're confused. Go learn. Go learn about evolution. Go learn about science. Go learn about the Big Bang. Go learn about abiogenesis. Learn. That's you got all. Everybody should be doing that. This way, you'll have better arguments when you come up here. Hello.
All right. So, what you agree everything is fueled by something, right?
No. What do you
Everything
mean?
that's functioning has a fuel.
I don't know. No, I don't think that. I don't think the Earth has a fuel. I don't think a rock has a fuel.
A rock isn't. A rock is just there. So the expansion of the universe. What is fueling the expansion of the universe?
You can say dark energy.
So what is dark energy?
It's this repulsive type of gravity that it's like a vacuum energy that exists in the quantum realm.
So
You there? Hello? Hello? Okay. Have a good day, sir. Hey, how are you? Hellcat. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your argument today?
You know, I'm going to be 10,000%. It was a little disingenuous, but I totally agree with your entire point. And I just wanted to ask you really quickly, what would be your assertion of the best form methodology of convincing someone through all of your experience that God is imaginary? What is the best way to have?
Yeah, I don't want to answer that question right now. Hello? With love? Hello? What's going on today, Patricia? Okay, move on to the next guest. Hello?
Hello. God is not me. God is not real.
Okay, have a good day. We're looking for people that believe in God, right?
Hello? Hello?
Hi. What's your argument?
My argument is that I believe in God through the existence of saints. I've seen enough miracles and I've seen enough people that have been, I feel personally, I'm from Lebanon and I've seen multiple people saved, like people that have stage 4 cancer and they've prayed to saints. And I believe like these people, doctors told them that they could not survive. They didn't even receive treatment. And just by praying, they were healed. So, and there's multiple accounts of this, all these saints. So I'm not sure, bro, Caroline, could you shut up Miley, please? Because I'm sorry for my dog. But there's that's my argument through like saints and miracles and stuff like that. I don't know how you can explain that through science.
Let me just mute that because I can't. Okay. First of all, you have no idea if saints cured cancer or not. We don't know what happened there. We don't have any medical records of what they went through. Cancer can go through spontaneous remission. It can literally get cured by your own body through something called T cells in the immune system. So there are pathways by which naturally cancer can be cured in the body without medicine. But furthermore, how about all the people who pray to saints and God and they still die from cancer? What were the saints doing then? Were they bowling or, playing PlayStation? Why is it that you know that the saints cured your friend's cancer, but the other things were not the saints? Or how do you falsify for saints? You can't do that. It's just a belief you have. It's a superstition. It's a inclination you might have. It's an intuition, but it doesn't make it good evidence.
Yeah. So the reason I say that is because it seems like it can't even be explained. Like these people see the same exact saint, like the exact same person. Sometimes they don't even know of him.
You don't know what they saw. How do you know what they saw? And how do you falsify? Do you know what falsification means?
Is that's when the saint his body remains for a certain period of time?
There is no such thing as a saint, first of all. But I'm asking about how you know something is true, right? And how we know things are true in science is by testing it.
They test these saints. They test these saints.
Hold on. In order to test something properly, you can't just say, mirror, mirror on the wall, I'm the best of all, and you
that's not what they do. There's
hold on. Your allergies go away in a couple weeks, and you go, oh look, the mirror worked. See, you're attributing things to that saint with no connection, right? And that's the problem. You're doing it because you want to believe it's the saints. You don't know what they saw, right? In order to test these claims, you need to be able to falsify them by testing it, changing variables, seeing what happens, right? You can't do that unless you can bring the saints here, right? You can't do that. Like, for example, can I pray right now and have a saint come?
Yeah, possibly. That's happened before.
Okay, let's try it.
You're mocking them. You have no real intention. You have no real intention of actually seeing a saint. You have no real intention.
I do. I want to see a saint.
Yeah, but then you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I see one. That's mocking it, and that's on it. That's.
Well, let's try it. Let's try it for real. I'm gonna be for real.
Okay, go ahead, try it.
What do I do?
You pray, and you ask to see a saint, bro. There's a million people just like you who didn't believe in God, yet they truly.
Let me try.
You're interrupting me. You turn off my microphone, but then you interrupt me. I don't get it.
Well, let me try. Let me get the saint.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, saint, please come. Saint, what's his name? Michael? Saint Michael.
There's a million saints. You can pray to Michael, Shadbid. You can pray to all of them. Mary's the number one saint.
All right. Hey, Saint Mary. I want to see you.
Okay, dude. Like, it's funny. It's kind of funny, but like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
Saint George, you there?
All right. Anyway, so you had a claim. You had a claim that saints.
Hold on. Saint Michael.
Dude, it's funny. It's really funny.
Maybe they're getting pizza.
It's funny. Okay. Anyways, you had this claim. You had this claim that saints like aren't tested. The Vatican tested. They don't just call anything a miracle. Like there has to be multiple people that test this in the Vatican, and then after that, like
how do they test it?
They have to perform multiple miracles. They can't just do one miracle. They have to.
How do they know that saints did it?
There has to be an undeniable doubt that there was some type of higher being that interfered.
How do they have that? How do they get that?
For example, somebody that could not walk before, somebody that could absolutely not walk, and then all of a sudden they walk because they prayed and they claimed that they saw like Saint Matthew or something. So that's how like these saints.
Okay, so somebody walked who couldn't walk. How do you know? First of all, it wasn't an act. How do you know they didn't actually have that disease? It was something minor. How do you know it wasn't placebo? How do you know maybe they could have walked all along? It's just that they didn't try to.
Because beforehand,
how do you know any of these things are false before you can say that God did it?
Because beforehand, doctors said, okay, this person could not walk. There is no way that you can walk again. And then all of a sudden, through divine nature, he becomes able to walk. That's how it happens. Like there's certain things that happen.
Do you have the medical record showing that they can't walk? It's impossible.
I can't pull up every single. If you search these miracles, I've been to these like for example, in Lebanon, I went to like this saint's house and they have a museum there, and it shows all of the amazing miracles that he's done. And it's like you can't. These are things that
you're being so freaking vague. You're just saying we went to this house, man, and we saw all kinds of shit. I'm asking you for specifics. What is the good evidence that would demonstrate there was actually a miracle taking place? And sorry, saying divine intervention isn't going to be good enough for us. That's just a word. I want something more. Bring the saints here. Do something so that we can verify that the saints were actually doing it and it's not something else. That's what we want. You know, and people are saying, Google it. But okay, where's the evidence? Where's the research? Where's the studies? Where's the papers? Where's the legit stuff, right? I don't want some whack job on YouTube. I want the real shit, right? So, last chance. Give me real evidence or go away.
Real evidence of what? There's no perfect evidence that I can show to you. The whole point is being.
Have a good day then. Look at that. Thank you. Hey, what's your argument? Hello? Have a good day. Pray one more time, it might happen. Saint Mary.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How are you? So you had mentioned something about seeing or bringing saints here to verify it. So you believe in eyewitness testimonies then, right?
What do you mean, do I believe in eyewitness testimonies?
That would be proven fact, right?
No, eyewitness testimonies don't mean that something is proven fact. It might be evidence, but it's not going to be proven. It's not going to be proof of anything. But yeah, eyewitness testimony is the least reliable source of evidence you can possibly have, because people can lie, they can fake it, they can say wrong things, they can be mistaken. It's the worst type of evidence.
Right. So, with Jesus, 500 people saw or claimed to have seen him after death. And
Oh, where's your source on that?
it's from biblical knowledge, which can be, I guess.
Oh, so from the Bible. So from you don't have 500 separate witnesses. You just have one storybook that says you got 500 witnesses.
Yeah,
right?
it can be rewritten. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have you don't even have witnesses. You have a claim of witnesses. That's even worse.
But you could argue that with any historical book, though.
Well, the problem is that when you're making a claim of a resurrection, that's a way different claim than saying, "Oh, Abraham Lincoln existed," and we have way more evidence for Abraham
Well, we
Lincoln.
know Jesus existed. So is it really a bad claim?
It doesn't matter if he existed. The point is that we don't have evidence of him resurrecting, even though people claim to have seen the Bible. I mean,
I'll get to that. So recently, my research isn't too well in that. I'll just say that from the get-go. But I did research it. I saw this thing off of TikTok, and it was the scientists and archaeologists that went to where they described Jesus's tomb to be. They found remnants of what was old blood, and they tested it. Well, that old of blood, right? It shouldn't be testing positive for chromosomes. Will it?
What? Yes, it should. Yes, it should.
No, not 2,000 years old.
Well, no, but okay. Where's your source on this Jesus blood?
Look it up. I don't have the actual source.
Did they also find his urine and feces?
No. So they tested it. They did test it. Like I said,
Okay.
my
So
research
where's your
isn't.
source on this Jesus blood? And by the way, it's just blood, right? It's just like old blood. It doesn't mean that it's God. Hey, look, Mom, I found some old blood. Oh, shit, it's God's blood. Timmy, you there?
I was doing research. Sorry.
No problem. How much time you need? Come back when you have it, okay?
Yeah, I will. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's your argument?
So you were speaking about the proof of miracles with the saints, and there's actually a lot of them. For an example, St. Padres Pios with the incorruptible body. You can go visit that and see that.
Okay, and how is this evidence for a God?
He died and his body didn't decompose.
So you found a body that's decomposing and you think that's God?
No, it did not decompose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there could be circumstances where the body doesn't decompose under certain conditions, right? Lack of oxygen, other processes can preserve the body.
The only time that has happened is with saints.
No. Even if that was the case, who cares? We know that naturally speaking that there are reasons and explanations for the preservation of bodies. What makes you think that this is supernatural?
If you look up bodies that have never decomposed after death, You're not going to find one other than the saints that have
Yeah,
not.
why does this matter? How do you know that this is supernatural, what's happening there?
So you're not taking that as a miracle, I'm assuming.
You haven't shown it's a miracle yet. You haven't demonstrated it. So can you
wait, do you not
provide
believe it
evidence?
happened? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just want evidence that this is supernatural.
So, you're not taking that as supernatural. I understand. Okay, something supernatural. So regarding the chromosome thing, so they did test blood, and there's only, someone in the chat said it too, 24 chromosomes. There's only chromosomes from Mary, his mother. There is not.
Yeah, so where's your scientific source for that blood test?
I mean, it was, look it up and send it to you. That's not a problem.
Yeah, look, you got to come up with sources next time, right? I'm not just going to take your
Oh
word
no,
for it.
I have plenty of sources. I have plenty of sources.
Then give one.
I am
right?
not worried about sources, bud.
Well, you should be. That's why you're Christian, because you don't care about evidence. You don't care about fact checking.
Oh no, I care about evidence.
Then provide it.
So you don't care that 2,000 people saw Jesus after his resurrection.
That's a claim. That's a claim.
No,
no,
look,
do you know what evidence is? Do you know what evidence is?
Yes, I do know what evidence is.
What is evidence?
It's
What's
a
evidence?
fact. It's a fact. It's a proven fact.
No.
Yes.
That's not evidence.
Yes.
Evidence is data that indicates something is true over another thing.
So a
It
fact.
it raises the likelihood of a given proposition being true.
What's your argument that God is not real?
Wow, nice pivot. But sure, why is there so much suffering and evil in the world? It seems gratuitous.
That's not evidence that God is not real. What's some evidence on your end?
It is evidence against God, because we would not expect so much evil in the world if God is all good.
You're not one to question the Almighty at all. You've been on this earth for how long? 20-something years?
So can you answer the question, why there's so much gratuitous suffering?
Yes, I'm asking you, what is a fact that God does not exist? That's not a fact. That's your subjective.
Data.
That's subjective. That is very subjective.
Deduction, right? It's like a logical deduction, right?
That is very subjective.
It's not subjective. There's lots of evil in the world, and it seems antithetical to a good God who can only bring rise to good things.
Give me another one. Give me something good. Come on.
So that's your counter? Give me something more?
No, I don't believe that's a fact.
Do you understand the problem of evil?
You do realize, yes, in our beliefs there's a reason for that. We have a reason for that.
Okay, great. So answer the question. Why is there so much gratuitous suffering?
According to our beliefs, we are fallen by nature. Satan tempted Adam and Eve to eat the forbidden fruit. What happened after that? We became sinful. Satan and his demons tempt the world. That's our beliefs. To answer that.
The problem is that if God is all good, why did he give rise to an evil world where evil happened?
I cannot answer what God can answer only. I'm not God.
Then that's good reason to think that your God isn't good.
You're telling me that God who died for our sins came down, died for our sins.
Oh my gosh,
gave salvation.
You're just yapping about your God. I don't care about what you believe. I want evidence that God is real.
That's why I'm asking you right now. What?
I can't. I just can't right now.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's your argument?
Say again? Sorry about that. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, what's your argument?
Oh, yeah. My argument is this, the title that you have up there. I find it interesting. I think this is my third time debating one of you guys. And every time I get kind of deep, I get kicked out for whatever reason. I'm polite. I allow you to speak and things like that. I follow all the rules. But for somehow I get kicked off. So let's begin. Okay, so you say God is imaginary, right? Do you have faith?
No.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. How many steps require for an ape-like creature to evolve into a man?
An ape-like creature?
To evolve into a man, how many steps?
We are apes, sir.
I get what your belief is, but I need to know the number of steps it requires for point A to point B.
I don't understand your question. We
My
are
question is this, because we all come from a common ancestor, right? So I need to know the point A to point B, how many steps required for an ape-like creature to evolve into a man? Please don't keep me out.
Now I know why people kick you out. Okay. That's a nonsensical question. There is no number. There's no quantifiable number of steps it takes. What do you mean by steps? If you're talking about generational transitions, well, there could be millions of transitions between us and the our common ancestors that were apes.
Okay, great. You said millions. Okay, great. Why don't we see that in the fossil record?
We do.
The millions of transitional forms.
Every fossil is a transitional form.
Every fossil is a transition. You're talking about the gradual steps, the building of the steps from a sea creature into a walking mammal to a man. You got those? Name one.
Yes, Pakicetus is a fantastic transitional form.
Good. And I knew you was going to say that because when I looked that up, it came back to be hoax.
No, sir. Pakicetus is a real entity.
Yeah. You don't have the number. You don't have the number of steps. You believe this happened,
sir. What's Pakicetus?
You believe this happened.
If you searched it up, what's Pakicetus?
It's supposed to be an ape-like creature, right?
No, you got it wrong again.
Right.
Pakicetus is a whale ancestor. It has 4 legs.
Right.
Whales are mammals, and the reason why is because they used to be on land with 4 legs. That's why over time they became more aquatic as they moved towards the waters more and more. And that's why Pakicetus is a perfect prime example.
That's a belief. You have never seen a genome.
Other land animals.
Sir, you have not seen a genome change from that information to that totally new information. You have not seen that.
Well, we have. It's called chromosome number 2. It exists in all of our human genomes.
That's a lie, man. You have not seen the genome change from that creature that you just mentioned to a whole new creature today, my friend.
Yeah. So do you know what a chromosome fusion is?
Do I know a chromosome what?
A chromosomal fusion.
No, educate me, man, because I don't know anything.
Yeah, we can tell you don't know jack shit, right? And I know
right. You don't know either. You don't know the number of steps.
I know more than you because I'm a Christian. But just relax and realize you don't know jack shit about evolution. Chromosomal fusions are proof that we evolved because it shows us common descent. It shows us 2 chromosomes that fuse together in our DNA. And the same applies to mutations. We can sequence the DNA and see mutations that occur and trace them back to our common ancestors who were other apes and chimp ancestors. So the evidence for evolution is so large that it's considered a fact amongst the scientific community. God ain't a fact. Okay.
Did you know mutation is not a gain of information, it's a loss of information?
Wow. What? Okay. So tell me what a mutation is.
Yeah, it's not new information. You could grow a thumb. Listen. Let me ask you something. If you was to grow 6 thumbs, is that a mutation?
You don't even know what a mutation is, and you're going to tell me it's not a gain of information? They're called insertions, deletions, substitutions. That's how new information rises.
Sir, if you grow if you grow an extra thumb, is that a mutation?
If I grow an extra thumb, no, it's not a mutation.
What is it?
Unless there's a genetic origin for that.
Give me an example of a mutation that's gain information.
Sir, did you know what I just explained to you? Do you know what an insertion is? Do you know what a deletion is?
Can you answer my question, man?
You know what a substitution is? Do you know what a chromosome fusion is?
You asked a question with a question. I see how you like to run away from the...
Why are you not answering my question?
But I asked you one first, and you never answered it. So a mutation...
You just talked over me. The gain of new information in our DNA comes about through mutations because genes and proteins are misplaced. Some are added, some are substituted with others, and that's why over time there's this increase in information. Changes occur and build up in our DNA.
So viruses have mutation? Viruses have mutation?
Viruses, yes, they can mutate.
Good. I'm glad you said that because we're gonna keep it simple because you try to okay, so viruses have mutation. Now I've never seen it. You have never seen a virus with a mutation gain new information to cause that virus to change into something different other than a virus. You have never seen that. You have to believe that.
So you understand? No, we have seen it, sir.
Okay, so you're telling me that a virus evolved into
we can sequence the DNA. We can sequence viruses and see different mutations they have. That's why there are different strains of coronavirus. Why do we have all these different? Remember the Omega
Stop muting me,
virus and all
man.
these. Those are because you keep yapping. You're not listening. That's why you don't know jack shit about the world around
But
you.
it's still a virus.
There, it's still a virus, but there's a different strain, a different species, a different genotype. That's the point. He doesn't understand evolution, right? And this is the reason why people kick you is because you're suffering from the Dunning-Kruger. You don't know much about the world, and now you think you know everything because you searched Ken Hovind online, and now you think, oh, I know everything about mutations. Let me get this atheist. It doesn't work. When people know about science, it doesn't work. Your tactics don't work. Hey,
Yo,
what do you got? What's your argument?
not really an argument. I just kind of see your God is imaginary post. I just want to let you know, man, God loves you, bro.
Yeah, I don't really care if he loves me. I want him to help others who need it, right? Like babies who are suffering right now, people in Gaza who are suffering. Why doesn't God take his love for me, shove it up his ass, and help people who need it?
Bro, it don't work like that. It's like this.
Oh, okay. So why doesn't God help us? Why does he just say he loves us and doesn't help
The
anybody?
children who are getting hurt, bro, the people who are doing evil things, this is all free will. The same way you can mock God right now is the same way people can go hurt children. He's not
Okay,
making.
so
Listen,
you're telling me that babies that have died in Gaza is because of their free will?
no, that's not what I
Oh,
said.
then who caused those babies to die?
The people of the land, like, you have to think about it. When blood is
Is that
shed,
fair? Is that a fair world that God would make such that babies die? Or how about things like earthquakes and tsunamis and volcanoes, natural disasters that kill innocent people too?
but if they can prove that they're making weather is like thunderstorms and blizzards, who's to say they're not doing earthquakes? Like, you haven't seen a weather machine? It's technology, bro. You live in the future. Like,
What? You think people are making earthquakes?
I'm not saying I'm just saying they're already making storms. They have storm machines, right? Right?
No, they don't have storm machines. There's something called cloud seeding, which is a true phenomenon, but it doesn't create storms in the way you think they create them. And they definitely don't create fucking earthquakes or lightning strikes.
They create clouds, bro, that bring storms. Rainstorms, yes.
Rain, it brings rain, but that's
Yes.
not the same as earthquakes or storms in terms of lightning strikes that can kill people or, tsunamis. Nobody's making tsunamis.
No, I didn't say that. But what I'll say
Okay,
is,
so then who's creating the tsunamis that kills innocent people?
I guess you could say God.
There you go. Ding, 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 ding. God is causing evil to occur. Why? Why does all this evil occur?
Evil is okay. So if you think it's a thing that's happening to us and not us doing the evil, I mean, that's kind of crazy. It's like, how can he be the one doing the evil if we have the
Yappity yap yap, don't come back. All right, so the next victim in here. Sharknado.
Sharknado. It's a good movie.
Excuse me?
You said Sharknado. Isn't that a movie?
Yeah. Hey, what's your argument now?
I'm just trying to figure out how I'm imaginary. It's
You
entertaining.
again? Oh my god, not you again. Bro is completely not sober. Okay. Let's get the next guest in here.
All right, so mine's pretty quick. Honestly, there's hundreds and hundreds of evidence of supernatural events that occur. Even science has proven that the supernatural is real. It being you don't have enough knowledge and understanding of the supernatural. There's even ghosts in people's houses, demon possessions, the Vatican, because it's impossible to truly say that all that could be faked or that's just caused by natural like stuff that happens in the world, but there's 100% evidence.
Why is it impossible? Show me evidence of these things being true.
Well, me and you could go to a haunted house, and you probably be pretty scared. Everybody would, but it's not. You have to be pretty brave to really want.
Look, why does it matter if I'm scared? What's the evidence of fucking ghosts? What's the evidence of demons?
So wait, you don't think they're real?
I don't know if they're real. I want evidence.
I mean, you have to know. You have to be on one way or the other. You can't just be in the middle, because you do a lot of research on a lot of different things.
Look. Do you have evidence of ghosts right now or no?
Yeah, you can go on TikTok and watch videos all the time. It's the truth. It's that simple.
Bro thinks TikTok is a source. What happened, guys? What happened? Why is school failing us, right? TikTok isn't a source for data that's any reliable at all. TikTok is a place where people can, fudge things and mix things and disturb things and edit things and change things. There's no way of knowing if the thing you see in TikTok is true. You need to go look at the scientific data. You got to be more scientific in your thinking, more critical in your thinking, and ask yourself better questions. How do we know there's ghosts? How do we falsify these things? Those are the questions you have to ask. Not, which TikTok video should you look at? It's not going to cut it. Check the next victim in here. It's not coming in. Go touch a chair or order a spirit box. Hello? Eva? You like how you call them victims? Nah, it's a joke. It's not meant to be. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just a habit I have sometimes. Your bed sink and it was me alone in it. Yeah, when you sit in your bed, it kind of sinks. Where is everybody today?
Oh, yo, what's up?
Hi.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be respectful and like not a dick and all that, but shit, I guess I'd say like the prophecies coming true, the complexity of the universe and how things are set up like perfectly, witnesses and people seeing things after death and then like coming back to life.
Yeah, so let's start one by one. What is your evidence of these prophecies happening?
Wait, you said what? My bad.
What's your evidence of these prophecies?
The moon is like rusting, and it said in the Bible it would turn red. I mean, that's one of them. There's like more.
Okay, so let me just dismantle this real quick.
All right.
The moon isn't really rusting. It's not really rusting. It's not turning red. However, the Bible is likely talking about lunar eclipses where you can get a reddish color of the moon because that's just a refraction of the atmosphere of the Earth shining upon the moon, and that's what it means. So that's what they probably saw. Now, the moon, the evidence is that there are some particles of rust that are being produced on the moon, but it's not even like it's like not even noticeable. You can't, it's not going to turn the moon red. The moon is still gray. So the moon is not rusting at all.
Oh, all right. My bad. Shit.
Yeah, shit. Yeah. That's right.
You want me to go on to like another point or shit? I don't know. What about?
Give me your best evidence for God. The best you got.
I mean, you're probably gonna laugh this one off, but I've been shot like in the face. I feel like, I swear to God, like I'm not bullshitting. I feel like,
Sorry to hear that. It's terrible.
oh yeah, thank you. But I don't know. I feel like God like gave me a second chance and saved me. I don't know. I mean, you're probably just gonna laugh that off. You know what I mean?
No. You have every right to say that. You have every right to feel that. No, and that's great. I'm happy you're here. The issue is we don't know if God actually gave you a second chance or not. It could have been just luck. It could have been just chance. And although we're grateful that you're here, it's the idea that it's a God doing it is ridiculous for a couple of reasons. Number one, how about the people that get killed and die? I mean, where was God then? How about the people who are innocent that die? Where was God then? So that this poses a problem if you're going to say God did it.
Yeah, you got a point there. I can't lie. I don't know. I mean, you seem pretty like smart. You got answers for everything. I don't I don't really got as much as you, bro.
I don't got answers for everything, man. I'm just like you. It's just that I ask better questions. I ask questions that people don't often ask, right? The harder ones, the more deeper ones. I don't know much about the universe. I know almost as much as you do. It's just that I'm asking better questions. I'm more disciplined in my questioning.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I guess I'll just talk about like one more thing, if that's all right. I seen someone say so many of their prayers have been answered for them to not believe. I believe I'm in that same boat. And you were Christian for a while, you said. So, I don't know. That's it, I guess.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's not going to convince me, I don't know anybody rational who's going to accept that. But yeah.
You said, okay, so when you were Christian, what made you want to convert to be an atheist? You know what I mean?
I read the Bible. Somebody asked me a question that I couldn't answer, and I read the Bible and I couldn't find an answer, and I realized that the Bible makes no sense when you look at it. Talking snakes, talking donkeys, Noah's Ark, a big ass boat with all the animals. That never happened. So this conflict stopped me from believing in God, as I realized that there's lots of issues with it. But I'm still skeptical. I'm still open to there being a God. I just want evidence of it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, it was cool debating with you. I'm pretty high, so if I sound like a little weird, my bad.
All right, man. Have a good day.
Hey, how's it going, Mike? So I do have something I've been thinking about. I'm not sure if it is proof, but maybe it's a logical proof, a philosophical proof. I've never said this out loud. I'm just thinking about it. So I'm going to experiment my argument on you. So I'm thinking that this is the way that sentience works. It's basically like an analogy would be if we took a bunch of Legos and we arranged them in such a way in a unique like configuration, and we said, yeah, this represents pattern recognition. Like this arrangement of Legos represents pattern recognition, right? And then boom, sentience comes from that. But here's the thing: if we were to do that with Legos in this analogy, pattern recognition wouldn't really exist. It would be a representation of pattern recognition. And so where I'm getting at is something would need to have the ability to interact with the idea of pattern recognition. Of information processing. So I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's information processing that that is neuroscientists believe is necessary for sentience to emerge. So, but it's an idea that doesn't actually exist. So it's information processing, like my Lego analogy. It's a representation of an idea that doesn't actually exist in reality. So for something to interact with the idea of information processing, it would need to have a mind or the ability for pattern recognition, and it would need the ability to
Let me see
create
if I
thinking.
can. Let me see if I can like represent your argument. Are you saying that if you were to build Legos in a particular way, no matter what pattern they were, you wouldn't get consciousness from that?
Sentience.
So that's it.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
but if we arranged Legos in a certain way that represented advanced information processing, then we would get sentience, right? So that
Sure, I don't see a problem with that. I don't. The reason why our brains have consciousness is because of the particular stuff we're made of. The neurons, they're configured in a certain way that can send out action potentials, which give rise to thoughts. That's what thoughts are. Thoughts are those electrochemical signals moving through the brain. So that cannot be done just by Legos, right? You need particular things for that.
I mean, but on an atomic scale, though, it's just atoms moving around, bouncing into each other. That's all it is.
Right. But they're dictated by chemistry. They're dictated by chemistry. And you can't just mix atoms together and get whatever you want. There has to be a very particular configuration for certain neurons to arise.
Yeah, right. And the particular, right. So you're talking about sufficient, right? So you're talking about sufficient, but I'm talking about, you're talking about sufficient configurations. I'm talking about what's necessary, and neuroscientists now are saying what's necessary for sentience, like not just humans, but for animals.
Information processing. Yeah, information processing.
Right.
Okay. So what's your point?
Well, information processing doesn't really exist in the actual universe. Our language is an approximation of the universe. Information processing doesn't. It's a description. A description doesn't have the ability to create sentience. It's an idea. It's a concept. It doesn't actually exist. It's not a tangible.
The point is that the Legos would be processing information, just like a computer chip does, right? Just like a stick of RAM does. It's processing information, but it's not. It's not the same medium as our brains, but it's still processing information. It doesn't need to be a mind.
Right. But the thing that causes sentience doesn't actually exist. It's an idea, right? It's not matter that's causing sentience. It's not molecules causing.
Yes, it is matter. It's the matter that makes up that gives rise to consciousness.
Matter is only matter because we call it matter. In actuality, it's just atoms jumbled together, and then we're like, oh, well, this makes sense to us.
Those atoms are information. Everything is information, right? Atoms are information.
Language is a descriptor. It doesn't actually exist.
Yes. Information doesn't exist in the real world. It's just a descriptor for atoms, for objects that we can assemble symbols to, right? Numbers and symbols. So information processing just means a particular chemical process, a particular atomic process.
Well, even with the neurons, we get the neurons in a specific arrangement with enough synapses. It's just matter, and then from that emerges sentience. But the common denominator is an idea that matter cannot comprehend. Matter cannot comprehend the idea of information processing or interact with that idea.
Yes, it can. That's what our brains do. Our brain matter does that. Our brains, which are made of matter, are processing information. I don't see the problem here.
If you're a determinist, then the mind's not necessary. It could do all of that without the subjective experience or sentience.
Well, determinism is compatible with a subjective experience and the mind and truth and facts.
But you do not need subjective experience to be determinism does not necessitate sentience. Sentience is not a requirement for determinism. It's an emergent phenomenon of brain states. So
Okay,
regard
and what's the problem there? Well, I don't understand the point here.
okay, so it's not necessary, which means it's not interacting. It's not interacting with. Well, okay. I guess I got to go back to the drawing board because I do have the idea, but I'm just trying to articulate it so somebody else can understand. And if you can't understand, I'm probably not going to have much luck explaining it to anybody else. So I'm going to think about this for a while, and I'll come back and I'll try and explain it later more. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. Good job, man. Thank you. Hey, that was a good attempt, man.
Hey,
At least he's. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's your argument today?
So I'm more on the agnostic side. I don't really believe in God, but I do have a question. Recently, I've been really interested in like God debates, and every time I've seen arguments for God, I've seen someone like being able to debunk it. But there's two arguments that I find really interesting, and I wanted your opinions on it.
Okay.
The first one is the moral argument. And the second one is not really an argument for God, but it's an argument against, I guess, evolution, which states that if our brain is the product of natural selection, how can we be sure that it can be trusted to to be logical?
Right. This is Platinga's argument against natural selection. Yes, I've heard about this before. So the first one you've raised was the idea that morality must derive from a god. Is that correct? Is that what it is? It's very simple. Morality although there's no facts about morality necessarily in the world, there could be just morality could be derivative of the brain and certain brain processes, the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex. We're making empathetic and logical decisions, and that's what morality seems to be. The second argument fails because although our brains are determined through evolution to think and have these processes, the beliefs we have are not passed down through evolution, right? So, for example, the belief that this paper is going to fall, I didn't evolve that belief. This belief is something that I recently discovered, I recently learned. So even though we are determined and our brains are determined, it doesn't mean that we can't get to truth, because the truth is simply what statements are, right? It's the fact about statements, which we can now, using the tools of the brain, the brain tool, we can come to truth regardless of how we evolved. Because we evolved the tools for thought, for truth, but we can get to statements of truth without the baggage of our evolution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Thank you. Hello?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's your argument?
Okay, so first off, I feel like when you ask for evidence and stuff, all these people in live, including me, I can't lie, but they really, no offense to all these people, that they can't really debate.
Just get on to your point. What's your point?
That they can't really debate because they don't do this a lot.
Don't say that. Just get to your point.
So basically, I feel like that since nobody can really debate, they're not going to give you any evidence. Therefore,
have a good day. Have a good day. Yeah. Don't be rude to the audience. Don't do that. Hello?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's your argument?
All right. I didn't really want to start out with my argument. I was curious as to what your best arguments are against it.
The problem of evil, divine hiddenness. Why does God hide himself when he reveals himself to others? How about the omni paradoxes? the free will omniscience paradox. How can God know the future yet know everything? I'm sorry. How can we have free will yet God know the future? There's all kinds of problems with the idea of God.
Okay, I guess I'll start out with the free will one at the ending. So like let's say we're playing like basketball, right? And I set up a camera and I record and I make a shot. If we go back and watch the video, would that necessarily like take away your free will in the moment to make the shot just because we know you're gonna make it?
Well, you can't change. The point of there being a movie of the basketball means you can't choose otherwise. That's the whole point. If God knows the future, then the universe is necessarily a movie that's determined, because the future is determined by God's foreknowledge of it. Right? God can't be wrong about the future, so it must be the case that if God knows I'm going to eat a bagel for breakfast, I have no other choice but to eat the bagel. I can't choose otherwise. So the basketball analogy you just presented is actually evidence in my favor, because it shows us that the basketball player in the movie can't choose to change the outcome.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, all right. Have you heard of the transcendental argument by any chance?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Can I hear your refutement against it, please?
The tag argument fails because it's simply question begging. I mean, it asserts that it's impossible for an atheist to derive logic or to ground logic or to justify logic or the preconditions to the universe. That's nonsense. First of all, an atheist can do that if they wanted to. We can just say that it's grounded in nature, the brain, things like that. We could also say, well, hey, wait a minute. The theist is making a specific claim that it's impossible for us to ground these things. Well, if you're going to assert an impossibility, that implies that there's a contradiction. So give the contradiction in an atheistic view, and they can't do it.
Okay, well, we can both agree like things like logic and mathematics, they're like concepts that can only exist in a mind, correct?
Okay.
Right. So
not necessarily, but for the sake of argument, sure.
All right. So obviously humans have not existed forever, but these things like math and reasoning, they exist like universally. So like what mind would they be existing in before humans came to be?
Don't exist universally. Yeah, this is the problem, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying, well, take away humans, take away all human minds, math would still exist. No, that's not true. Math is mind dependent. Just as the universals, what you call universals, what you call transcendentals are mind dependent too. So the reason why is we can take a fictionalist version or a position to logic. In other words, logic is simply describing linguistically what things are. It's not the case that logic is describing something real and tangible in the external world. When we talk about logical truths about transcendentals or absolutes, they're just mind dependent. They're linguistic models. So that's why the tag argument fails, and that particular position fails.
Okay, all right. Also, who is Q-Top? Like, what is the chat talking about?
I don't know. He's a guy on this app that I've debated a couple times, and he just says he's just wacko.
Okay, all right. One last question, and if you can answer it, I'll probably just concede. All right, so like, let's say like we're on Earth, right? But there's no humans existing, and there's one stick on the ground, and a gust of wind blows another stick on the ground next to it. Obviously, there's two sticks on the ground, right? Like, how is that even able to be explained without a mind of math existing, or math existing inside of a different mind?
Every time you invoke the idea or the concept of two sticks floating around or moving around, that already is invoking a mind. That's already saying there's a mind there to describe it. So that description, right, that mathematics you're invoking is a language. It's a descriptor for what's happening. It's just a linguistic model, again. So, again, you don't need a God to ground those things. You don't need God to ground math. Math is purely mind dependent, and the external world is its ontology is unknown. We presuppose it's there. We perceive what we call the external world, but we don't know what it is. We can't access it because we're subjective agents. We're subjectively experiencing things.
Right. All right. I'm gonna be honest. That does make sense. I was just curious if, like, are you agnostic by any chance, or are you just completely atheist?
Well, you can be agnostic and atheist at the same time as an agnostic atheist. But I'm also Gnostic atheist towards certain gods, like the Christian God. I think it's not possible for that God to exist. But most gods I'm agnostic about. I don't know.
Well, that's all I got, man. Thank you for having me up here.
Thank you. All right, a couple more guests. Keep tapping and subscribe to my YouTube and bio. Hello?
What's up?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's your argument?
Well, I wanted to go back to the thing you said about movie. Is how, like, why would God just want to watch all of us if he already knows it's going to happen?
Well, that wasn't my argument, but okay.
It just goes back to the argument that God is out of our understanding. So no matter what we try to think, or no matter how hard we think, we won't be able to understand. But that brings back to the have faith in God, that he knows everything and everything will work out.
Yeah,
And we
that
will
wasn't
have answers.
that wasn't quite the argument I was making. What I was saying was we can't have free will and God have foreknowledge of the future. There seems to be a paradox there. But yeah, resorting to faith to me is useless. I mean, why would you want to have faith when you could be wrong? Just as you have faith in God, I can have faith that God isn't real. And which one of us is correct? We don't know. We're stuck. So faith doesn't do anything for you, positively speaking.
Yeah, because he's out of our understanding. Like, no matter how hard we think, we won't be able to understand.
But how do you know that?
Because we can see, because we still don't understand. That's how I know.
So you know because you don't understand?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
To me, it does, at least.
So what you're saying to me is, I don't understand it, therefore I know it. That seems crazy.
I'm saying you don't understand it, so it's just simple. You just don't understand it.
I know, but if you don't understand something, you can't say you understand it, right? That seems to be contradictory. You can't possibly grasp this thing, and you can't even call it a thing because you don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know what you're describing, right? That's the problem in the first place. I think what you mean to say is there's something out there, I believe, that's higher. We just don't understand it fully. I think that's what you probably mean. But there you go again, making things up without evidence.
So is it just the Christian gods you don't believe? Or you do believe a higher power, though?
I don't know what a higher power is. What's a higher power? Like a jet plane?
Well, how do you think the universe is created?
Who said it had to be created? What if it was always there?
Well, that's exactly what God is, always there.
Well, why even add God? Why not just stop at the universe and say the universe is all there is?
You're pretty much describing God just with a different name.
No, the universe doesn't have a mind. The universe doesn't care about me. The universe didn't die for me on a stick. The universe didn't create anything. It's just there, and we happen to be in it.
Well, I'm not even talking about the Christian God in this. I'm just saying, it's like, I'm trying to change your reasoning here, I guess.
Okay, well,
hold on a second. I'm getting technical difficulty. Can you elaborate?
The universe acts.
Hello?
Hi, what's your argument today?
Hello?
Yeah?
Hello?
It's not coming in.
Hello.
Hey, what's your argument?
Hi, Mike. Big fan, by the way. Just saying I'm an atheist, first of all. But I've got like a deistic notion of God, like an argument for like a deistic notion of God, not a theistic notion. If you know the differences.
Yeah, make it quick.
Okay, so can something natural make something unnatural? Or
What do
create
you
something?
what do you mean by unnatural? I don't know
For
what
example,
unnatural.
So in the natural order, is a car in the natural order, would you say? A part of the natural order?
Everything's natural in my view. Everything's natural.
So would you make the argument that a plant is just as natural as a car?
A plant?
Yeah.
Look, when we say the word natural, what we mean is something that in nature has physical properties, tangible properties. It's existing in space and time. So to me, everything's natural. I think what you mean to say is like man-made and versus non-man-made.
Yeah. Something. So is everything man-made a part of the natural order?
Yeah.
Would you say? Yeah. Because I don't.
We are natural. Even though we make things as people, we are still fitting within this naturalistic paradigm.
So would you concede the point that something like a plant or something like organic material or whatnot are the same as things that are perceived as man-made, such as a car
I don't know what you're trying to how you're trying to distinguish these two things. I don't know. To me, they're the same in terms of their nature. I don't see a difference in their nature.
Okay. Well, that was just the argument that I had. That's about it.
Okay, thank you.
You can go next. It's fine.
I think what he was trying to say is, how can you get a natural world from an can something natural come from something unnatural, or can something natural come from something unnatural? I don't know. I think it's just useless to talk about. Hello?
You don't know.
What?
Kids, and I have all of them, even the girls. One boy was unhappy with his knee, and I promised to help him get it.
What's good, bro?
Hi, what's your argument?
I'm sorry?
What is your argument? Forgot.
All right, so you claim that God is imaginary, therefore he's never existed, correct?
Probably, yeah.
All right, so what about the multiple evidence that he's left here on Earth? Have you done any research into it?
Yeah, like what's the evidence?
Well, let's give you an easy one. Noah's Ark is in Turkey, just as the Bible said it would be. Sonar's been done on it, so we know there's rooms in it. It's clearly as long as the Bible said it was, width and length. That's just
So
the easy
where's
one.
where's the scientific analysis of this ark?
Search it up, bro. It happened years ago. If you want me to go and search it up
Search
for
what
you,
up?
I can right now. I'm on TikTok.
So you don't have a source?
The source is on the internet, dude. You can search it up on your
Okay,
free
so
time.
if you look next time you come up, bring a source. So
Just look the source up. Do you see? That's the big problem with
I have
atheists.
looked up
No,
the
you
ark,
haven't.
and there is no damn evidence of the ark. Okay?
There's sonar evidence of it.
First of all, the ark is impossible. How the fuck did the penguins get to Antarctica?
Bro, you're gonna ask God about the penguins, bro? That's what you're thinking about?
Were the
You're
penguins
talking
on
about
the
the
ark?
penguins. Like,
Sir, were
go ahead.
kangaroos and penguins on the ark?
Okay, what's your point?
Were they? Yes or no?
Everything that God said to go on the ark went on the ark.
Okay, so what did God do with all the shit from all the animals?
I guess freaking Noah cleaned it up.
Okay, do you know how much shit there would be every day?
Bro, you're talking about shit and penguins. Do you understand? This is the issue.
It
Like,
doesn't make
it,
sense. The point is, it doesn't make sense. How did the fucking penguins get to Antarctica, right?
bro, God split the ocean, bro. What do you're gonna ask him about the penguins? You're gonna talk
He
about
split the
penguins.
ocean?
Yes, he
That's
split
a
the
claim
ocean.
you're making. You just can't continuously assert things and think we're gonna believe you.
Dude, it's there. The Red Sea has a path where the ocean lifts up. The ocean floor literally lifts up. Like, it's there, bro. The chariots are
There.
there.
Wait,
The proof
no,
is there.
the chariots, there are no fucking chariots. That was a
There are
hoax.
literally
There are no
pieces of
chariots.
chariots that were found there and Roman,
No, there
old
is
ass
no
Roman
scientific
armor.
analysis of that. There is no such a scientific analysis.
Okay,
You
there's no
have
scientific
you have
analysis.
succumbed to gullibility and you've
Oh,
believed in nonsense because people told you things and you haven't questioned these things enough.
all right. So who told you that rockets fly up into space and go all the way to Jupiter and all that bull crap? Who told you that?
Nobody told me. It's called evidence.
I know. Who
First
left
of
that
all,
evidence?
there's physical evidence
Who
of it,
left
and
it?
we have cameras, we have
Who
photos, we have all that stuff which demonstrates that.
who left it?
There's
Who
nothing
who who
preventing
left the
rockets from
evidence?
going to space.
Who left the evidence?
The rockets.
Who left the so rockets left
You
the
can really
evidence?
see rockets with a telescope.
I know. Who owns the rockets that go up there? What's the name of the organization?
Boeing, NASA, there's all kinds of SpaceX, there's all kinds of arguments. Things.
Okay, all right. So you said NASA, you said SpaceX. NASA started off as star, moon, and sun worshippers. If you didn't notice, if you didn't know this, SpaceX is
First of all,
literally
that's nonsense.
okay.
No, it didn't. It started
Yes,
off
it
as a
did.
government agency. Secondly, even if that's the case,
Okay.
who cares? We're talking about evidence of rockets. And the evidence is clear that rockets go to space. Do you not believe in space or something?
God said there's a firmament that divides the waters above from the waters below.
You believe in a solid dome around the earth. You really believe that?
No scientist has ever been able to replicate an ecosystem without it being enclosed. So I don't know why you think that the gravity holds in fucking our
Yeah.
atmosphere.
So what you're saying is I don't understand how the atmosphere could be held by gravity.
What I'm
Well,
saying is just like you, that you have faith in people you've never seen, you've read things from people that you've never met, and you don't even know their names. I
no,
have
you
faith
don't
in people that
understand
I've never
science. Let
seen.
me
I have
let me
faith in people
educate
that
you.
I
Let me
have
educate
never
you.
met, but at
Let
least
me
I know their
educate you,
names.
sir.
At least I know
Do you
their
know how
names.
Do you know how the scientific principles operate?
Yeah. Go ahead. Science, the
How
one
does
that
it operate? How does it operate?
that's
What
you're
is
talking about.
scientific method?
You're talking about the same thing that the same thing that
What's
believes
the
that the
scientific
universe
method?
that the
What's the
universe came from
scientific
nothing,
method?
right?
What's the
I
scientific
don't believe in
method?
science, bro. Science is bullcrap.
You you can't be serious. Okay.
I am serious.
Okay. Now I know why you believe all this shit. Science works through certain methodology, right? You observe, you take data, you test things, you hypothesize, and you come up with conclusions that are indexed to the evidence. So I don't just believe in what scientists tell me. They lay the evidence out clear for me, and we can infer based on the evidence they provide if the conclusions match up with the hypothesis. That's how science works. I don't have to talk to the scientists. I can read the data. They lay it out for us. Then if I'm uber skeptical, I can test it myself and I experiment myself by immersing myself with the science in science labs. That's how that works. Secondly, the atmosphere is held by the gravity. And the reason why you don't need a container, you don't need a fucking glass dome around the air, is because we know that in terms of a cylinder, if you have a bunch of air in a container, it's going to equalize after a while. The pressure is going to equalize. Okay, we know that happens. It doesn't just go out into space.
All right. Answer me this then. If you believe in their evidence, but you want to so heartily disprove the evidence that God has left behind, what do you think happened in the Olympics right now? What do you think just happened in the opening ceremony of the Olympics?
What are you talking about?
I just asked you a question. Is it that hard to understand? What do you think
What happened? There was the opening ceremony. What
Okay,
happened?
what happened? Did you not see it?
What do you mean?
It's just a simple
It's a
question, bro.
ceremony. It's just like every other Olympics. What's the big deal?
No, it's not. you know what happened? They mocked the Last Supper with a transvestite, like,
Oh
whole.
no! Oh no!
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand trans people. I don't understand the world around me. There's nothing wrong with being trans. There's nothing wrong with that. And they did not
Listen,
mock. They didn't mock the
they
Last Supper.
they did mock the Last Supper.
It's called
The
doing
the person
doing
who
a show,
organized is an
doing an
open
act.
Satanist.
Stop. Satanists don't actually believe in Satan. Okay, you are extremely delusional to think that these people are actually worshiping Satan. No. Take off your fucking God goggles for a second and realize that not everything is seen through your lens. Everything must be God. Everything bad is evil and Satan. No. Recognize the reasons why people are the way they are. There's nothing bad about being trans. There's nothing wrong about mocking your religion. Nothing is wrong happening here. You think it's wrong because you just are scared of things that you don't understand. You're fearful because you don't understand much. So learn the scientific method. Learn who people are. Learn. This is why I do what I do, right? I want people to recognize that they should be asking better questions before they come up here, before they believe in things. But thank you for being here, guys. Thanks for listening. Why don't you make a live debating politics? Because politics is kind of boring to me. How are the pyramids so precise? The ancient Egyptians weren't dumb. They were smart. People underestimate how smart they were. Keep asking questions. Everybody should be asking questions. People think, oh, I believe in God. I know more than you. I know everything. No, that's a false sense of knowledge. Dunning-Kruger. Fallen angels build pyramids. If you believe that, you got to go back to the drawing board, okay? You overestimate how smart you are. No, I don't. I know I'm not very smart. But I'm smart enough to recognize where our knowledge ends. I'm smart enough to recognize that we got to be cautious before we just become gullible and believe whatever anybody tells us because the Bible said it. That's the problem. Einstein wasn't always right. Well, religion's never right. Science may not always be correct, but it always improves. It always gets better. It always builds upon itself. It's a self-correcting mechanism. Whereas religion will always be wrong. It can't improve. It'll always be incorrect.